This is
There we go.
session 7. Night Slow Agents. Tentatively called back to Slough House. When we last met our heroes, our intrepid heroes, they were paddling away from a stone frigate in Scarpa Flow that was on fire and exploding, having destroyed an Edom holding facility with a number of weird ghoul-like creatures. For all intents and purposes, they discovered Varney the vampire, or just plain Varney, and a spirit of Hugh Draper, this wizard sorcerer thing that had been trapped in a stone, and his spirit had been allowed to enter Varney, creating the vampire. Varney himself, without that spirit, was no longer a technical vampire. However, having spent centuries or so infected, he still retained some of that pain. The other thing you discovered was some vials in the laboratory, and they were marked Varney, Dracula, and Danube, and the Danube strain. You grabbed some of these vials, jumped into your little decathlon, Itwit, 300 canoes, kayaks, and paddled to shore, eventually arriving back on the island in which you were staying. Time passed, you packed up, and there's a series of montages of you getting onto boats, getting off boats, driving in Struan's people carrier, and I believe Rivers Golf, driving from Johnny Groats, Land's End, Johnny Groats, all the way down to Slough House, where after 2 days travelling and 1 day's resting, you find yourselves outside the entrance of Slough House, ready to go in for a debrief and what have you.
Okay.
So kicking the door, which is obviously stiff. You make your way up to the conference room, should we say, of Slough House, where you find Roddy, Standish, and Lamb.
Okay.
Well then,
I'm guessing Roddy will greet us with "Hello, losers" or something like that.
Yeah,
Welcome back, losers.
One job, Lamb says. One job. Stealth mission. Go in quietly. Investigate and come out. Have you seen YouTube and the BBC? He flips the screen on. There's just a glow of fire. BBC, worst disaster since Piper Alpha. Oil rig is burning after terrorist attack in North Sea.
I mean, Mr. Lamb, with all due respect, Mr. Lamb, I mean, we did find like what seems to be like an actual vampire and an actual, black site that seemed to be hosting these things. So I don't really know, with all due respect, what else we were meant to do, to be honest.
It's optics. It's optics. Look, they're saying ISIS attacked.
Well, better that than they're saying that it was vampires.
Well, they're sending Queen Elizabeth II with some American planes on to go and bomb the top left-hand corner of what's it called? Iraq, Iran, one of those countries.
I mean, I'll agree that's not. I'll agree that's a bit awkward, but you know.
So, how many deaths? I think this will put the deaths higher than the amount that Cartwright killed at King's Cross. 150, wasn't it?
Something like that, sir.
Training exercise.
Yep. But did they really die that way?
Doesn't matter. So, what did you find out? What did you find out?
Strictly speaking, these. I mean, we found out that there's like actual vampires. Apparently, that might have been good to have been, you know, briefed at some point before we went charging up there. But we did bring back some samples. So we have those vials that we brought back. And I believe we took pictures, didn't we, as well? We took some pictures of the setup.
Yes.
If I remember rightly.
Yeah. Pictures. I don't.
So obviously
think
we've got
you Did you go into the server room and take hard drives?
Yeah.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the server room, defo.
You were in the
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. I think we retrieved what we could. I mean, again, bearing in mind none of us are Roddy or whatever, but I think we did pull whatever we picked up paperwork and any evidence we could find. So, but we definitely took pictures of like dead bodies and the stacked up soldiers and all of that stuff. So I mean, we've got quite a body of I don't know whether you'd call it evidence, inverted
stuff.
commas, but we did get quite a bit of stuff.
Data.
So,
sorry, one other thing. Does anyone? I can't remember. Did we record? I think we recorded. Also, I think I recorded when I was talking to Varney. I think I actually recorded it on my phone as well.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, admittedly, he could be ramblings of a madman, but at least I've got the audio of what he was saying.
Yeah, you've got the audio, but not the video because you can't see him on the video. He doesn't appear on the video. So, what do we have here? We've got Olivia Liu saying that she's got two dossiers. Something on Hugh Draper, who now appears to be out of the picture. She's got some information on a dig site in was it Romania or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got the dossier, the folder that was stolen from the NATO guy. That's in Odessa.
We got leads in Gibraltar and Ireland.
Yeah.
As well.
Ireland is the unpronounceable
The
castle.
Yeah.
Gibraltar is lots of data stacks in Gibraltar. The bodyguards or the security detail, special forces, OICs, whatever you want to call them, they had been paid out of Gibraltar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The sorceress and the strong guy had come from Gibraltar. So you've got a few bits to consider as to what to do next.
Where do we want to go next? It's a short answer.
Yes. Oh, and also you've got all the weird stuff about what's his name? Philby.
Yeah, I'm still a bit unclear on all of that, but I guess
Kim Philby's dad.
I mean, is it worth us waiting? Because we have these samples that we brought back. So is it possible? So I'm a bit vague on the whole Slough House, because Slough House, right? I know what it is, but it's still part of MI5. So if we were
Yes.
to get, would MI5 process those samples? Because I guess it would be useful to know if there's anything, about those samples that would prove what we're talking about. Because before we go herring off somewhere else, is it worth getting those analysed?
You could get them analysed by a laboratory. The laboratory that analysed the skull you could use.
Okay.
So the skull you picked up at Clerkenwell, which had a DNA test proved to be whatever his name is. That laboratory is at the moment appears not to be compromised, so you could potentially use that one.
Right.
Would it be worth?
But again, what
you
are
say
you
that
kind of look?
you say there's this stuff about Philby. I'm assuming was it Kevin Philby or whatever his name is?
So Kim Philby
Kim Philby.
and his dad, St. John Philby. So
Would
John
it,
Philby.
would it be worth taking that information and showing the old man?
And showing where?
Showing the old man, my dad. Go and see my father, the big cheese who's retired.
Yeah, you mean Cartwright's granddad, you mean?
That's the one I'm on about. Yeah, sorry.
Cartwright.
Yeah. It's Cartwright's granddad, isn't it? It's not his dad.
Yes, yes.
I'll do that then. I'll assemble copies.
So maybe we could, I think maybe we should split up. So I think it's important, let Cartwright go and see his granddad. But I think, again, because if we can because the thing is, if we get these samples analysed and they're like, oh, well, there's nothing to it. Because again, it's all about trying to find some sort of concrete proof. Because like you said, we've got, pictures and we've got some audio and some other bits and bobs. But and I guess the other question is, what's Lamb's position on this? Because he obviously sent us up.
So assuming that you've told Lamb everything,
do any of us think there's any reason not to tell him everything?
No. Unless I'm vampire, no. Tell him everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's better off if he's on our side.
There's any reason not to tell him what's going on, so.
No, we're on the same team. I mean,
so ultimately he's our boss, and ultimately he's our boss, right? He's,
Yeah.
So he says, after you telling him all the information, he says, so Varney was talking about a coming storm that he thought that the Danube strain was going to be stronger than the Dracula strain, but didn't know what that meant other than Dracula's forces were preparing for some kind of war.
But do we think that maybe then this thing about the two strains, is it potentially therefore a terrorist plot? So, so for example, if you're talking about this in terms of like modern espionage, then is there some danger, do we think, that somebody could be plotting to maybe introduce this strain into the populace? So in other words, it's just if you imagine it as if it's anthrax or some other, chemical warfare, agent. So is the immediate threat, do we think that someone is going to try and use that to infect, the population? I mean, I don't know what that would get them, but I guess again, given that we're sort of, failed / fairly incompetent espionage operatives, we go with what we know, right? So we know in terms of what we do, we know about terrorist plots and so on. So again, I'm thinking if we get the strains analysed, is there any possibility of getting an antidote or an antitoxin or something? And B, what does that tell us if we get that analysed? What does that tell us about what they could be planning? But I guess you said that if it's the Danube strain, so presumably that might lead to be where we need to go. If that's the origin of it, is, where's that? Because where's the Danube? Okay, where's my geography's just failed me. Where's the Danube again? It's in
Germany, isn't it?
Germany area, yeah.
It's
The Danube.
few other countries as well, I believe.
It's the river that flows. Where's maps?
Yeah, but it flows through. I know it just touched through, goes through Germany, but again, is there? Where do we think the source of that is? So, is there two factions of vampires here, which seems to be what we're talking about, right? There seems to be at least two. Didn't you say there
Danube
was two, or
River.
maybe even three?
At least.
There was his own Varney, which appears
Yeah.
to have been supernatural, magical sort of. Dracula.
Yeah.
Which he indicated that may or may not be
Dracula's
linked to
Romania,
earthquakes.
basically.
Yeah. The Danube flows through Romania, Hungary,
Yeah, it's Romania and Hungary and
what else?
I mean, so maybe I don't know. Maybe Romania is I don't know, but again, I just can't help thinking that maybe we get this stuff analysed before we go charging off anywhere. Because again, if it's a plot to, unleash this onto the wider populace, then maybe we need to try and stop it at source. But I guess the other thing is, sorry, go on. Yeah, create hundreds of vampires or thousands of vampires. But the other thing is, what about? I mean, again, what about MI5 in themselves? I mean, is Lamb going to raise this with MI5? Because this would seem to be a potential threat that is way beyond our scope. That we've sort of
so he
stumbled
suggests
onto
that he will have a meeting with Lady Di to see if he can test the waters and see what they know, if they know anything.
That makes sense. And then, like you say, maybe these are things we do whilst we're waiting for that conversation to happen. So get the stuff analysed. Cartwright can go and have a chat with his granddad. I can take flowers to my wife and get the people carrier cleaned. Because again, I'm conscious of us charging off without having a plan of action.
You have a plan this time. That's excellent news. So
well, we never end up with a plan, do we? To be fair.
No. Buy some canoes and blow an oil rig up. Yeah, it'd be fine. So, over the course of a 48-hour period, you rest. You send the 3 strains to the laboratory, which is trusted. Jackson Lamb will attempt to set up a meeting with Lady Di. Cartwright is off to go and see his grandfather, and everyone else is either resting or having some downtime, so to speak.
Okay.
The vials can be tested, but it's going to take about 4 days before they get any solid information back for just the nature of testing shit. Cartwright drives off to I can't remember the village to go meet his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that is on the internet about St. John Philby and his son Kim Philby, you can find out. Kim Philby's named after Kim, the character from Rudyard Kipling's book. Yep. St. John Philby is actually quite interesting. Everything you know about Philby is obviously the gang of 4, however many it was, the Cambridge idiots, Philby, Burgess, McLean, and the other 2 that became spies for Russia. So John Philby baptized his son in the River Jordan. He took vials of the river and sent it to the British Museum. to be tested to see if it was actually holy water, if that was a thing.
Mhm.
So he was born. He spent some time all over the Middle East. He fell out with Lawrence of Arabia over Saudi Arabia. King Philby, no, St. John Philby was promoting King Saud, being to take over when they created the kingdom out of the dust. He was promoting them out of the remnants of the Ottoman Empire. Lawrence was obviously a bit of an idiot. Didn't want that, so there was some pushing them backwards and forwards between them. Even though Lawrence gave all of his memoirs and lots of documentation to Philby's dad. Philby's dad, I think, got those, and by dint of association, Kim Philby got that information. It was thought that this is what Cartwright's grandfather was saying. It's thought that St. John may have been a bit more on the religious side of things than is widely reported. He seems to have been quite taken with the iconography of, or the importance of the holy water, or the thought that the Jordan contains holy water. He had spent a little bit of time visiting the Spear of Destiny in I can't remember where that is.
While I'm talking to you, I'm going to start filling him in on everything we found, not just the Philby stuff. And then say, do you have any idea of the connections?
Well, there must be some Middle East. If Philby's name's popping up, there must be some kind of Middle Eastern connection. Obviously, Philby was promoted to Basra in 1915, and known to have a habit of copying classified files or basically stealing them. When he became governor of Jordan in 1921, Lawrence gave him all of his own personal files.
Yeah.
And then later, Philby served as Ibn Saud's vizier for much of the 20s and 30s.
Okay.
So that seems to be odd that's popped up in your investigations.
Okay.
And obviously, there is a rumor that Burgess killed Lawrence. He ran him off the road.
Okay.
So the only other thing I remember of Philby, in addition to all the stuff that you can read, is that he had there was a conversation between him and a Russian diplomat, or a Russian handler, and he was talking about something called albedo, ALBEDO.
Okay.
Albedo,
albedo. Albedo.
Really?
And
What called albedo?
Albedo, and something called nigredo.
I know what albedo is. I don't know what the other one is.
Nigredo.
Albedo
These
was-
are words that essentially translate into the white and the black.
right.
Yeah, because
So,
in alchemy, nigredo or blackness means purification or decomposition. So many alchemists believe that this is the first step on the way to the Philosopher's Stone. So to get to the Philosopher's Stone, it says all alchemical ingredients had to be cleansed and cooked extensively to a uniform black matter. But basically, in psychology, the term nigredo is something to do with the dark night of the soul, when an individual confronts the shadow within. So, whereas
We kind of
albedo,
just
I'm guessing, is the opposite.
well, I thought it was a measure of brightness.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
the fraction
it's
of sunlight that is reflected by a body. So yes, it is. You're right. It's exactly that.
it's in essence a the white and the black.
Ebony and ivory.
Yep. Don't know what that means. Yin and yang. Don't know what that means. But he was going on about these, and then took up his appointment as the Visa of Abin Saud. Effectively the first king of Saudi Arabia.
Right. Okay. So maybe if they do we know anything more about what this? You say it was a project or something? Albedo and Nigredo?
So these were just two things that popped up in a conversation with a particular Russian diplomat around 1920, in the early 1920s, just before he served as the Ibn Saud's Vizier, and about the time he had sent water from the Jordan River at the spot where apparently John the Baptist baptized Jesus, and sent it off to the British Museum for unspecified tests of its holiness.
So, if we can assume that, if we can believe the mythology of vampires and stuff,
Yep.
maybe they were
Holy
looking for
water's a bad thing.
Yeah. So they're looking for a source of holy water. That's maybe what. Maybe that's what this project or whatever it is. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know.
So where did you say it was sent to?
The British Museum.
Right. And the other thing was there was a connection with the British Museum where something was stolen.
Yes. The samples or a box containing stuff that St. John Philby had sent to the British Museum.
Want to take a guess of what it was?
Right.
You can guess.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other ideas, guys? I can ask the old man. Or sorry, the grandfather.
I mean, so it seems like this seems to be another angle to look at, but as to where we go next, I don't really know.
So there is one question which, where's my glasses gone? Hang on. One question you could ask, which is obvious, sort of obvious, but given the amount of paperwork that St. John Philby had, the classified files and the stuff that Lawrence of Arabia gave him, that stuff either exists or it's been destroyed. If it exists, where is it?
Yeah, I'll ask him. Yeah, I'll ask him that. Seems to be the most obvious one. Does he know? Has he any idea?
Well, I don't believe. Now I'm speculating. He says after pouring a second glass of whiskey, I'm speculating, but Kim Philby didn't follow up with his dad's ideals of that kind of supernatural elements, or it doesn't appear that he used those terms, albedo or nigredo. He didn't. So if Philby has them, first St. John Philby has them, it's possible that they either were buried with him.
Oh, an exhumation. We love an exhumation.
An unboxing.
Or
Unboxing.
they are kept somewhere else. Now, the only person that would know that is Kim Philby.
But Kim Philby's dead.
Kim Philby's dead. Kim Philby's handler, I believe, might still be alive. I need to dig his name out. He says I've got it written down somewhere.
I.e., a Russian.
The Russian chap who appears to be, I believe, is still alive. So either Kim Philby has them, but Sir John Philby died in Beirut in 1960, and he's buried in a Muslim cemetery there, as he converted to Islam in the 1930s.
Okay.
Philby is buried in the Bashura cemetery in Beirut.
Beirut.
That's a friendly neighbourhood. Okay,
Yes.
so we're back to question one. What are we going to do?
So we have the Romania lead. That's the digging at the castle. With the Odessa, something to do with the briefcase and the CIA.
So Odessa was a former CIA operative called Carroll, I believe. Is it Carroll? Donald Carroll, the independent contractor, was based in the Crimea, and it was him that the guy that you killed in the safe house in Romney Marsh was pointing to. And he was actually also rambling about being cursed by Baba Yaga to find the Spear of Destiny.
I mean, maybe he's a good place to start. I still want to wait for the but then also so the Philby angle, the stuff possibly being buried. That sounds possible as well, doesn't it?
That's in Beirut.
Yeah, I think it's Beirut. God, that's not. I mean, none of these places are particularly appealing, are they? To be honest.
No.
Although I guess Beirut is, because it's so. Even now, I guess it's still quite chaotic. So you could probably get away with digging up a grave without.
In a predominantly Muslim country. Well, actually, no. Beirut is has a large Christian enclave, it is a hodgepodge of because Beirut's in Lebanon, unless they've moved it. So you do have the crazy Christian militia. You've also got Hezbollah, and it is quite factional and broke. I'm pretty sure Lebanon is actually completely and utterly broke at the moment. So getting there is possible, not easy, but possible.
So, okay, I mean, maybe then we, as Roger suggested, maybe we think about the Romanian angle, because the Romanian angle seems a bit more doable, because Beirut's a pretty, like you say, that's a pretty risky proposition, isn't it? And I guess, if you believe the mythology of, vampires and so on, then obviously Romania is a key location, right? But certainly for the Dracula angle. So maybe we should just go with the obvious and go and investigate Dracula's castle, or what we think is Dracula's castle.
As so obviously Cartwright's left his grandfather's and he's made his way back on a conference call to explain what he's learned from you guys. Maybe 20 minutes away from Slough House. River's talking to you guys on the phone, and River, you get a second call come in, and it's your grandfather.
Okay, I put on hold, accept.
He says, Shevlenko, that was the idiot's name. Arkady Shevlenko.
Arkady Shevlenko.
Yeah, he was the KGB officer that...
he was the handler, was he?
Yes, he was the handler.
Right, okay. Is he still alive? Can you give me a location of him?
He is still alive, I guess. Yeah, he's still alive. I'd have to pull some strings to find anything out about him. Leave that with me. I'll get back to you. You could ask. You could ask Lamb if he's heard of him. He's an old Joe. He might have bumped heads with Shevlenko.
They moved in a similar sort of circles, I guess. So yeah. Okay. Thanks for that.
Cool.
As I end the call and get back onto the filling in whatever it is. Filling the rest of the group in, and then I'll say, ask Lamb if he knows anybody called. Oh, no, I can't. I'm sorry, brain's gone.
Arkady Shevlenko.
Shevlenko. Yeah. Ask him if he's familiar with him, or if he knows of him.
Okay, well, we'll do that.
I'll see you guys when I get back.
Okay.
Righto. Arkady Shevlenko.
Arkady Shevlenko. Googling him brings up a tiny bit of information about him being an ambassador. It's all official Wikipedia stuff that just gives you is kind of a brief history, no mention of Kim Philby or anything, just that he is a Russian that was retired.
Was retired.
Yeah, he's pensioned off.
Right. Okay.
Do we have a location for him?
No.
Presumably MI5 or MI6 would have records on him, though, right?
You could get Roddy to have a pop at googling him.
Yeah, Roddy to have a little dig into him, see if he can find anything out.
Sorry, have we asked Lamb?
No, Lamb's still out of the office. He's speaking with Lady Di.
I'll ask him when he gets back.
Can't imagine that's going to go well.
Well, when does it ever?
So Roddy will Google search for Arkady Shevchenko, and he says,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go on.
No, I was just wondering about the castle in Romania. If I think we had some photos of it or something, of some unsanctioned digging going on, but I'm not sure if we know the identity or location of the castle. If not, we might need to do some kind of research to try and identify the location.
I was sure you had that information. Why are the photographs not there? Did I manage to?
I had a note.
I managed to delete the photographs. I managed to delete it. How stupid! That's annoying. Okay, so I've managed to delete the actual image. Oh no! I didn't delete the image. That's just there. Let me just move this to there.
I guess I'm asking if we know where the castle is, or if we need to.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's.
You know exactly where it is. On the map.
Right.
It's not quite in the location of Dracula's castle, wherever that might be, but it is. It looks like a classic Gothic castle that you'd expect to see in a House of Horror film in Romania, obviously. So you can see from the map, to the right is Moldova, and below that Ukraine. Roughly where the E of Ukraine is, that's Odessa, and between Moldova and Ukraine is a disputed region called Transnistria. And there's several thousand Russian advisors there, and it's thought that might become a breakaway region at some point. So there's conflict in addition to the war that's going on in Ukraine. I think it was around Transnistria. That's where the Russian, the guy that you shot in Romney Marsh was taken through. He had a chat with Olivia Liu in, I want to say, Romania. Pretty sure they had she had a meeting. She had interviewed him, which is where you got the name from and picked her up. So Roddy picks up some information, and he says, "That's odd." He says, "There's an active US operation covering Arkady Shevchenko."
Interesting.
Active,
yes. It's inaccessible. It's locked down, top secret, level 1. Hang on a second. Okay, so it appears that Arkady Shevchenko
not locked down anymore.
No, don't think so. Well, the Americans are trying to there's going to be an attempt to extract him. He's in.
we know when.
Vienna.
Oh.
Plan is towards the end of the week.
So is there any way that Rod? I mean, I guess our obvious course of action is then perhaps we could try and extract him first. Is Roddy able to get enough information so that we would be able to locate him? from their surveillance or whatever?
So he runs through some information. He says Shevchenko is looks like he's in Vienna with 4 FSB handlers and his Liski Bravata watchers.
Yeah.
He's got a heart condition. He's being treated by a Dr. Ingolf. Let's see what else. The CIA team. The current CIA team is in theatre, but has been listed as burned.
Can you repeat that last phrase?
The CIA is in theatre, but has been listed as burned.
Ah, the cover's blown. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So obviously, let's hang on. It says spent the Middle East in the 60s, 70s, Soviet embassy 80s. What else we got? Last portion of his career babysitting older spies. He's vaguely attached to Gorkaran, a division of the Russian Ministry of Finance that deals with sale of precious stones. Okay. So he was in Beirut in the 1960s. At the same time, St. John Philby died of heart attack shortly after collapsing at a club. And in the document it says where the waitress who served him and Kim Philby was heard to exclaim in horror, "Oh God, I've poisoned him." Let's see. 70s, he spent 6 months as a prisoner in Iran, was freed by the events of the revolution in 79, having been arrested for attempted theft of historical relics. Back in Moscow, he's assigned as Kim Philby's final handler. Kim Philby was recruited as a full officer by Arnold Deutsch in 1934. Philby. Okay. Shevchenko ran Philby's final debriefing in 1988, just before Kim Philby died. And it's got a handwritten note here that says, in that terminal briefing, Philby confessed his last secret to Shevchenko. Initiated him fully into the Philby plot. He told Shevchenko about Albedo and the Negredo and the preparations St. John had made in Riyadh in 1931. Shevchenko is offering Philby's passbook.
Passbook.
It's a passbook to access a deposit box.
Ah,
Not clear what's in it, but it's
I think we need
it's
that,
something
don't we?
the Philbys had.
yes.
Yeah, I think we need
Yes.
that. So he's using that as his bargaining chip. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, He's like what is like it's some of this is handwritten, but yeah, it looks like that's
Well,
what they want, or that's what they attempted to get and failed.
Yeah, so I think we need to try and get this, and that means we need to go after Shlevenko.
So Vienna's
Okay.
kind of on the way to Romania.
Yeah, we could do
Yeah.
that.
So as you're talking about this quite loudly in the office, Shirley pops her head around the corner with a tray full of coffees, and obviously the rest of the team has been filled in on vampires. Some are more skeptical than others. But Shirley Dander says to you, Vienna.
Yes.
Vampires in Vienna.
Yeah, maybe.
No, you know, vampires and Vienna. One of the famous vampires, Vienna. Surely you've read it.
Isn't that where Lestat comes from, or whatever his name is? Interview with a Vampire.
No, not the made-up stuff. That's not that
No.
rubbish, wet stuff that she wrote.
I
Carmilla
don't-
comes from Vienna.
Who?
Carmilla,
Why don't you?
female
Why
vampire,
don't you? Why don't you
predates.
pretend? Why don't you pretend, Shirley, that we don't know what you're talking about and tell us about her?
I don't think I
never
need to
heard of it.
pretend, she says in a thick Welsh accent, light Welsh accent. Camilla predates Dracula by 2 or 3 years. She's a lesbian vampire living in Vienna.
Not married to the current king.
Don't think so.
And is it rumoured that she's still around, or?
It was a story from the 1800s. If you think vampires are still vampires are real, then maybe. But you know,
Yes.
So Vienna is looking even more,
Okay.
even looking more good.
I'm afraid I haven't heard of that name before.
so
No, never
Camilla
heard of it.
appears in the Vampire the Masquerade role-playing game, but it's a story that was written and filmed a couple of times. But she predates in terms of Dracula vampire lure. She predates Dracula.
Dracula, yeah.
She's sort of loosely based on Madame Bethany,
Bathory.
but Bathory, that's the girl, that's the woman. But yeah, it's an older story. Female vampire.
I did not know that.
Read by J. Sheridan Le Fanu, Fanu. It's a short novella published in 1871.
Vienna it is then, I reckon.
Yes.
Oh, Vienna.
Was that Venice? I can never. I can never remember which ones. The wet one is Venice, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Venice is the wet one. Vienna's the opera one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, she says, well, haven't you read any vampire books?
It wasn't the top of my reading list, no.
She looks at Cartwright and says, looks him up and down. He goes, "Surely you've read the Vrek one with the gay vampires in it."
As I said before, it wasn't in the top of my reading list.
Yeah, but you like Nazis and that shit, don't you? That Nazi from Germany who went to America and did all that spy shit. He wrote that. He wrote that vampire book. I can't remember what it's called. He wrote the biography of the Wandering Jew as well. 2,000 Years of Longing. Vrek.
Heard of that?
He was tried.
There's a connection.
Different game. Tried and convicted of spying by the Germans, the Nazis. He had all the senators in his back pocket. Didn't you? You lot know nothing.
I guess not.
As she's saying that, you look past her desk and Rachel Maddox's Prelude is sitting there. That's a whole thing about the Nazis in the 1930s. I was a wreck. Anyway, so yes, Carmilla, Dracula, Varney. Who's that? Colin Wilson. Colin Wilson wrote some space vampires. That wasn't bad, she says.
Mhm.
None of that sparkly vampires from Twilight. They were a bit naff.
Oh, so you're quite into your vampire stories then?
Oh yeah, quite like vampires, werewolves,
Interesting.
mummies. You know, somebody's got to have a hobby. I quite like reading. Gothic. I prefer my gothic horror to my cosmic horror. I like the cosmic horror stuff. It's got to be classic, pre-Poe, gothic horror. Pit and the Pendulum, Hop Frog. Who doesn't like Hop Frog?
Me.
Struan's looking blankly at all of this anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
The original Killer Clown, Hop Frog.
So we're going to Venice. We're going to Vienna then, right?
Right. Somebody book the EasyJet flights.
Oh,
Austria.
yes. Vienna.
Stanley says, I can book you some flights. What passports will you be using this time? And you look at you know full well that you've got a bunch of passports with stupid names on them because Roddy's a dick.
Yeah.
And that happens to be one of my passports.
Oh, I think aren't they all Hugh, Pew, Barnum McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble, and Chubb? I can't remember what I went with. As
Something like
they're
that.
not clever names. Yeah, something stupid like that.
Well, that's gonna look good if we all turn up at the thing with all those names.
So you hand over your passports, and she goes off to a computer and starts tapping away. In the interim, Vienna. It's the capital of Austria, one of the great cities in Europe. After World War II, it was divided into zones, a bit like Berlin. After 1955, Austria was established as a neutral country, which made Vienna the ideal home for international institutions such as the UN, OPEC, and the International Atomic Energy Agency. They have offices here, and the city hosts many key summits and treaty negotiations. The city is divided into 32 districts, and the River Danube runs through the city. Population about 2.5 million, slightly smaller than Chicago. Vienna is a hotbed of international intrigue and espionage, apparently. It's the spook capital of Europe, according to this Wikipedia page. The conflict happens to be removed and deals. So the Hofburg Palace is the former home of the Habsburg dynasty, now the official home of the Austrian presidency. What else? Uno City. Officially, it's the Vienna International Centre, but most locals call it the Uno City. It's a complex of buildings north of the Danube, home to the United Nations and other international bodies. Am I going to go at that? Zentralfriedhof. I've killed that. That's nailed that one. Zentralfriedhof is one of the biggest graveyards in Europe, containing more than 3 million bodies. It's an Oh no, I've misread that. I almost thought it said it's interdimensional. It's not interdominational. Denominational graveyard. The Zentralfriedhof covers 2.4 square kilometers.
From now on in my campaigns, it's going to be an interdimensional cemetery.
Yeah. I was like, have I read that right? Actually, an interdimensional graveyard? Oh, I didn't know that.
Puts a whole new meaning to it, doesn't it? Really, if you think.
Yeah.
Whole new.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Whole new plot. I'm sure you get plenty of plots out of that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Somebody actually got it.
Oh dear. Okay. So from the Wikipedia, you've got resources at the bottom and links, and there's a link that says supernatural or other Vienna, and it's a kind of a some kids or somebody's fanboy page which has some interesting oddities and weird facts about Vienna that are kind of a bit out there.
Let's have a look.
Those mean
So-
nothing to me about Vienna.
In the 1950s, a group of occultists with fascist sympathies met in Vienna in the studio of Wilhelm Landig. It was there they developed the concept of the Black Sun, the mystical or amystical symbol that promised to revive the energies of the Aryan race, taken from SS ceremonies from the floor mosaic in Wellsburg Castle in Germany. There's a woman in Crawley that has an SS, the Black Sun image tattooed on the back of her neck. I saw her in Tesco's a couple of months ago.
I have a feeling that she might not know what it actually means.
Yeah.
No, because I'm staring at. I think she might probably think she's a Mandela or something. I remember wandering around staring at, thinking, that's just mental. I remember seeing one in America, an Nazi symbol on somebody's leg. You expect that, but not in Tesco's in the frozen meat section. Anyway, the angel. So that was one bit of information. Hang on. No, the Lander Group also investigated towers of hidden power under the polar ice caps and claimed to have contacted with a secret Antarctic base established by the Nazis in 1938. And it trails off. And then there's another one. It says the Angels of Death were a group of 4 nurses who killed at least 39 people and possibly as many as 200 over a 4-year period. They worked at the night shift at the Lanzig General Hospital. A patient once asked one of the nurses, Voltran Wagner, to end her suffering with a morphine overdose. The nurse complied and soon developed a taste for killing. She recruited 3 other nurses and led the group. Initially, most of their murders were mercy killings, but later they eliminated annoying and troublesome patients and killed according to their whims. Maybe there was an unusual number. What else? There's Rubens filter through estimates and stories of displaced spies like agents, wild tales of vampires, about worldwide conspiracy and organisation to fight back. There are also other people out there who are also fighting this conspiracy and other crazy stuff like that. To give you some flavour of Vienna.
So I think, so it definitely seems like it's the place we need to be. But we need to talk to Roddy about these bloody passports, right? Because we can't go. We can't go to Vienna with stupid-looking passports because intelligence agencies would be all over us, wouldn't they?
So the initial passports you went with to Marrakesh, Morocco, have a heat value. So heat's essentially what
how much you pop up on the radar of intelligence agencies, basically.
Right.
So Roddy says, okay, give me some names and I will see if I can pull some strings to get some passports and some false IDs. But
okay, so I immediately don't trust him because he's being too cooperative.
The problem with getting IDs is you can either have a basic ID, which is just will not stand up to scrutiny, or you can have a cutout, which is essentially MI5 take, depending how old you want to be, take a child that has died in, say, 82, take their passport and create an identity from that actual person that passed away, and create a whole identity from there.
That's
but those are fixed. Your names are fixed, or whatever the parents gave that kid's name.
Yeah,
that's fixed. So you can't. But he can produce 4 of those with whatever sensible names you choose.
Okay, I think that makes sense though, right? Because you're going into modern day Europe, dealing with you can't afford to be prattling about with stupid names, so because they'll jump out if people are watching. So
yeah, Mickey Mouse's entourage. Well, yeah,
exactly.
So
and it
Austria
won't be Roddy. He'll be rotting in a European jail, will it? So
no. So Austria, how far away is Austria from Vienna? No, how far away is the other one, Vienna, from Romania? Because Romania's popular. I can't. It's close because the Danube flies. What am I looking at? I'm looking at.
also Romania. Yeah, there's Vienna, Romania. It's a few hundred miles. Yeah, hang on a minute. So it's about.
Oh, you've got Hungary in the
300
way.
miles.
Yeah, so Austria sits between. You've got Austria, then Hungary, then Romania.
I'll Google it while you're talking. Get a proper answer.
So Standish will get you flights to the Austrian capital or the Austrian airport in the capital. I think there's an airport in Vienna. No,
880. It's 882 kilometers. What's that? About 500 miles.
Yep. The Vienna International Airport. With
550 miles.
In Schwetzstadt, Austria. Made up name. Flights take off in 48 hours.
Oh, that's good. That works. Right.
She booked you on the seats, and you have the address of Arkady Shevchenko, according to the information on the CIA, the documents.
Yeah. Okay.
You also have the address of the coronary specialist, Dr. Ingolf of Vienna. He appears to be Arkady Shevchenko's heart doctor.
He might be a good point of contact, mightn't he? Because you can assume that maybe Shevchenko is being watched, or but then the doctor
it does mention
could be a good way in.
some FSB agents, 4 FSB handlers, and something called the Liski Bratvater Watchers.
I don't suppose we have any. Can we get any photos of what they look like?
So yes, there are a photograph of Arkady Shevchenko. He looks like an old white guy, so could be anyone really. And there are no photographs of his handlers.
Okay.
But the photographs on the file.
Okay.
So Standard says, "Oh, it's slightly. I've booked you in hotels, and a hire car near the airport. It appears it's slightly more expensive than it should be because there's an international trade conference going on.
Oh, that'd be good cover.
Yeah, lots of
It's-
foreigners about. That's good.
The theme is commerce in a multipolar world.
Commerce in a multipolar world.
It just looks like it's a bunch of bankrupt Western governments trying to borrow money off the Saudis and the Chinese. Looks like there's lots of Saudis there actually. There's a large number of Saudi princes going. Do you know there's that many princes?
There's quite a few.
Yeah. So whilst you're there, look, you need to be careful and keep away from the Bundespolizei,
Away from the law.
which is the police. So they've got what they're calling Uyghur units and Eco Cobra there. Uyghur is, I'm not going to pronounce that, but it's essentially the local equivalent of SWAT. Vina en Sapgruppe Al-Mabretilung. And Eco Cobra is the Australian Counter-Terrorism Forces. So you've got to be careful there.
So avoid any imperial entanglements, is what you're saying, basically.
Yes, she says definitely. It's going to be very hot.
Yeah. Well,
Do you
thank
think it's
goodness
worthwhile-
MI5 are sending its best agents to deal with this.
If only, yes, but obviously the CIA group have already been disappeared or have come a cropper, shall we say? She says,
Well, they're
you can't take
Americans. What
guns.
do you expect?
You're not going to be able to take guns there. You have to
Sorry,
get
what now?
guns on the way. Guns. You can't take guns into Vienna.
I heard you. I just didn't believe what you said.
There's a moratorium on diplomatic bags. Can only go in a certain area. So you'd have to
Source those.
if you need weapons, source them locally.
Right. Well, from what we've seen so far, we should probably get some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lamb says, I could take some burner phones, give some numbers, and if we can locate a local source of hardware, we will send you the coordinates and information to get those.
Yeah.
I spoke to Lady Di. I don't like being laughed at when I mention vampires. But something's going on. She dismissed it far too easily and left pretty quickly. So, whilst you are in Vienna, we may relocate Slough House for a few days.
Okay.
Just in case, in case things are about to go south.
To me.
Fair comment.
Yeah. Okay.
Shirley and what's his name? Her friend Marcus. I think they'll be on standby in another location just in case you need help or extraction. Get a plan. Get in. Grab this guy. Drive him across the border. And I will have. What are we going to get? Hungary. Slovakia, check. From where? Slovakia or Hungary? Slovakia or Hungary?
I'm thinking maybe we could take the river downstream to.
Yeah.
At the Danube downstream. It's a bit
Which
slow.
country?
So Vienna is really close to the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary. I'm thinking I might send Dander and Marcus into one of those places.
Mm-hmm.
You said Romania, Hungary. I'll send them to Budapest, and I'll get them to make their way to the border. To the border. Oh. I'll get them to go to Bratislavia. Get it. So you get the guy, get to Bratislavia. From Bratislavia, they can make the way. You can make your way down to Hungary, or potentially, Bratislavia. That's Slovakia. It's the direct route. You go through some unpronounceable places. Thought we taught these fuckers English. Can't write in English, he says. Wolf's fat. Oh, yeah. Get to Vienna. Pick up Arcady. Bung in the back of your car. There's a Standish. Get him a people carrier. Get him a big people carrier. Get to Bratislavia. Switch cars. And Dander and Marcus will drive you out.
Okay.
They will come up with an exit route, either through Slovakia, Hungary, or the Czech Republic, depending on where the heat falls. Avoid the Americans because they've been burned, and if you get caught, good luck.
You know what you do with us.
Never leave a Joe behind.
Mm.
Do we have something like a sort of a fake company here in the UK that we could say we work for, that would stand up to
Universal
kind of
Exports.
Yeah.
Universal Exports. Oh, to the trade conference.
James Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
Universal Exports. Okay, let's go with Universal Exports. Standish will get you tickets to the International Trade Conference, which you'll have to pick up to get lanyards, but that will then give you some cover, to be in town.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. Good.
48 hours pass. You make preparations, get a bag full of clothes and whatnot. As you'll get to Heathrow Airport, a call comes in from the lab. They've analysed the blood, and you've briefed the lab's been briefed on what it could or couldn't be. She says, well, there's 3 strains, obviously. The Varney strain seems to be normal blood, but when injected into mice, it makes the mice stronger and a bit more bloodthirsty. We injected it into 2 mice, put them into a group of 10 mice, and they ate all the other mice over a 3-hour period. We tried your Dracula strain. 2 mice. In bright sunlight, it just burst into flames and died. The second mouse has vanished completely. We looked on the CCTV, and it looks like it may have either it seemed to be flipping between turning into smoke and growing wings, and that's vanished. The Danube strain is quite odd. It appears to be the solution appears to have spores in it. They look like mushroom spores. That has the same traits as the Dracula, the strength, the weird sunlight thing. But these last 10 hours. After 10 hours, the mice went back to normal. It's like it's a
limited period.
Yeah, it's like a super serum. After 10 hours, there's no trace in the mice of this serum, and as far as we can tell, beyond those 10 hours, has no effect. There's no more effect. There's no trace of it. Can't find it. It's like it's just limited for around 10 hours, and then it wears off. It looks like it's giving you super strength for 10 hours, but with the sun thing. It's
that wouldn't be much use as a terrorist weapon, would it? Yeah, but that wouldn't be much use as a terrorist weapon. No, but I mean, if you were going to infect a population, if it wears off after 10 hours, I suppose there'd be chaos for 10 hours, but then...
Really it's different if you use it to perform a terrorist outrage.
Yeah.
That is true, but if you used it as say you're on a mission to stop some MI5 agents in Marrakesh, you pump your top agent full of the super strength flying smoke stuff for the 10 hours. That would be quite useful. This would be a game changer for spies. Oh, hang on. Okay.
Did I miss it?
So the Danube strain. Wait a minute. My colleagues just come back, and the Danube strain is a bit more dangerous. It seems to not last 10 hours. The Varney and Dracula strain do last 10 hours. The Danube strain is a forever thing. Once infected, you're infected. We dissected the mouse, and there appears to be a slug-like creature. It's attached itself to its main capillaries So these spores grow some kind of. It looks like a leech-like creature.
Okay, so the Danube one is bad. Sounds like the Danube
Yes.
one is the worst of them.
Yes. If you're
Yeah,
going to use
And
them,
presumably,
don't use the Danish.
if you use the other ones, did you say that there was evidence that they also get the bloodlust as well? So you said that which was the strain that they gave to the mice that they
Varney
let
gets a bit
everybody
of
else?
blood. Yeah, Varney gets a bit of
Okay.
bloodlust. That's because we put them, but the Dracula one didn't.
Right.
Just had super strength and one of the mice
vulnerability to
kind of
bursting flame.
fly and stuff. So
Okay.
Sorry, and also the one's limited to 10 hours. Is
yeah,
the
around 10 hours.
Varney and
Both
Dracula
Varney
strain?
and Dracula.
But not the Danube.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Well,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Important safety tip then, people don't use the Danube one.
Well,
No.
don't get infected. It's probably even better.
It's almost like somebody has been trying to create time limited super soldiers.
Yes.
Now, how long? I don't. It's you don't know how long this operation has been going on. How many vials of this stuff exists? You've obviously destroyed all the vials that were available in
I suppose.
on Persephone.
I guarantee there'll be some in Portland Down though.
Possibly,
100%.
depending on whether Portland Down's involved in this.
Kevin, I know you. Portland Down's involved in everything.
There's no reason to expect Portland Down is involved. Anyway, Vienna.
Vienna, land of the living.
Land of the living. You have the address of both Arcadia and the other guy. Short wait, 2-3 hours in airport holding. Fly off. Heathrow to Vienna takes 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. You arrive in the middle of the rainy season. It's quite dark. There's dark, ominous clouds overhead. Get out of the airport. There's a taxi driver, or there's a guy with a suit holding a piece of paper up, which first of all you don't clock, and then you remember actually it's not really your names. It's in your made up name. He has the keys to the rental car.
Okay.
So within
This is
an hour,
people carrying
hour or so,
tools,
yeah, it's a there's 4 of you. It's a European people carrier.
It'll be German then.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a Volkswagen multivan.
Cool.
Okay.
Anybody driven on the continent before? And it's probably going to be Struan again because he's probably taken his family to the south of France, I would imagine, at some point.
Yep.
So
this is a left-hand drive car.
Yeah.
Yeah, left-hand drive car. It's always I find it a bit weird driving left-hand cars in the right side.
When I was over there, because there's a different gear, because it did gear sticks in the on the other side, it froze you completely off.
Yep, it's a bit weird.
That's why
So-
automatic's the way to go.
Yeah. Private drive over there again. It'll be get an automatic.
Or just drive a right-hand drive car.
Drive on the right. Well, yeah, there is that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, these bloody colonials should drive on the right side of the road, the correct side of the road.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what we did Brexit for, wasn't it? Oh no, that wasn't. No, that's it. No, forget that. So, hour or so later, you are sitting in the hotel. There is a note from reception with a bunch of numbers on that says, "Please ring Auntie," and it's got these numbers, but they're not a phone number; it's coordinates.
Okay, can we plot the coordinates? I guess it wouldn't be that difficult.
So the coordinates is about a 30-minute drive, and it's a warehouse district.
Right.
It says, "Speak to Auntie."
I guess that must be for our hardware.
Mm.
I mean, is there? So, what time of day is it when we arrive?
So it's dark. So I'm going to say it is 7 o'clock.
There's no. Excuse me. There's no time mentioned on the note, so we presumably should probably go straight there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
If it's- if
there
there's
is
no
no
time
there is no
mentioned.
time mentioned on it.
So,
Mm.
okay, so I guess we're done past stuff at the hotel, and I guess we make
Yep.
noises as if we're going out to find somewhere to eat. Like in other words, in case anyone is listening, and then we'll pile
Yep.
into the people carrier, and we will head to the designated coordinates.
Okay, so you're after a 30-minute drive. You pump the numbers into your Google sat nav, and you arrive in an empty area that's got it looks essentially like a series of garages.
So like an
garages
industrial
for
park
stuff.
or something. Or...
It's like storage wars. It's got kind of slightly taller than garages, European, obviously. And it's quite dark. Can't see anyone. Turn your headlights off, and after a couple of minutes a couple of seconds for your eyes to adjust, top right-hand corner, there is a garage door that appears to have light pouring underneath it.
Okay.
Almost the lights on in the garage. It's not pouring, but it's just kind of ebbing out of the garage door.
Okay, we'll go and knock on the door. No reason not to be polite, and it's also in case it's somebody, in case it's a mistake.
All of you are getting out. So how are you going to play? Is one of you are going to get out and go to the car, or all of you are going to get out and go to the car? Go to the garage door.
I think maybe one should go. Again, we have to remember, we need to be cautious, don't we? So
I was going to suggest two.
All two. Yeah, I guess Struan will stay in the car with the engine running just in case. I suggest River would probably go because he's the action man, isn't he? And then maybe maybe Louisa.
Yeah, because if you lose Louisa, you always get another woman. They're easy. They're to a penny, aren't they? Yeah,
I was going to say she's probably. Yeah, we'll edit that out. I was actually going to say she's probably the most competent, so it's probably better to have her there. But
yes.
So I'll just keep the engine running.
River and Louisa, you make your way to the garage. As you get closer and closer through the dark, you can see there is a natural glow around the outside of the garage door.
Okay.
What are you going to do? So the garage itself is obviously shuttered, and it's shut down.
Right, so this is the address we're turning up at for the rendezvous with the guy who's got the equipment, yeah?
So that look, you've got coordinates for this particular area, and that is the only one of these garage doors that has lights on.
Okay. I'd sort of like sidle up to the door and stick my ear against it.
There is silence.
Okay. I'll look around. Is there anything obvious that I could pick up and use as a club or something like that?
No. There might be a tire iron in the back of the. Not a tire iron. Nobody's got tire irons in their cars. You might find. So all you can think of in terms of a weapon is there's a possibility there is a jack in the back of the people carrier. But that's touch and go, because most new cars don't have spare tires, and therefore have no need for a jack.
Yeah. Well, if they've got a tire, it's going to be an emergency spare wheel or something like that.
It'll be that inflatable stuff. So you get back to the car, you open up the hold where you would expect to find a tire. There is no tire. There is no tire iron. Just that goo stuff in the pot. So you don't have a weapon at hand.
Okay. I'll go back to the main door. Listen again, see if I can hear anything.
No, it's quiet. You can hear the pitter patter of rain tapping on the metal tinny garage doors. The garage door next to it seems the pitter patter on the rain makes it sound more hollow than this one, almost as if it's empty.
Okay, I'll try the door.
Okay, so you lean down and you pull it up. So it's a roller one.
Yeah.
So you don't get it the S. So you latch the whole thing up, and you need to make a stamina. Is it stamina? Stability check.
Stability, yeah.
Hang on a minute. Shit. Have a look on the camera. Right, stability is. I'll find it. It doesn't actually. What's it under?
Stability.
Yeah.
Under the
general skills. Can't remember. I haven't got.
Oh, damn. I've written it down.
Something at the bottom of your list.
Under general.
No, I did stability 7. Yeah. Okay.
So make a stability check. So we'll go back to here. Roll 1d6 and where's that? That's not there.
I'll spend a point.
Lance Rocket. Yes, Lance Rocket. Oh, what was the other ones? Lance Rocket. There was Magnum Shaft. And I can't remember the other guys. 5. So you can succeed. So you don't lose any points. So Louisa as well. You've got to make a roll.
Yeah. I suppose I'd better spend a couple then. 6. Oh, take it up to 5 then. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't lose any points. Inside there is some wooden boxes. There's a table with some guns on, but lying on the floor in the center of the unit is a person laying face down with a fire axe sticking out of his head.
Yeah. I would be worried. Yeah, go on.
There are 4 Glock 19s, Glock 7s, 4 handguns, and 4 HPK 5. There's 4 little mini submachine guns and 4 handguns with a suitable amount of ammunition.
Okay.
Yeah, grab them.
Yep.
You will need to make a stealth roll to attempt to get in and out without stepping in the pool of blood that is washed over the garage. Failing to do that will mean you have
Left footprints.
you have picked up DNA. You have left a trace there, should we say? This will be a crime scene.
Now, is stealth or is stealth infiltration? Because I don't have stealth.
Infiltration. That's better. Essentially, you want to walk in without stepping in or leaving any trace. Infiltration sounds better.
There isn't a stealth skill, is there?
No.
It's infiltration.
Just
What I
now-
mean is there isn't a
I'm just
specific.
thinking how much infiltration will we be doing in
General
this
skill. It's a general
portion of the
skill.
game?
Yeah. Well, I got 4 in it for what it's worth.
Well, that just
Yeah.
means that's the points that you can spend, Mike. That's not a value.
Yeah.
That's the points you can spend.
No, I know that, but I said that's why I said it's. I've got 4 things. I'm not going to spend any points.
Okay.
I made a 5, which is clear.
So you stepped over the pool of blood and
Go on.
collected some weapons.
I'll
Louisa.
take a risk. I'll take a risk. Yes.
So both of you can get in and get out without leaving a trace.
Take a look
As you're walking back to the car with the guns, you realise that you actually touched the door handle of the
Garage.
outside or inside.
Outside.
Right, I'll go
So
back
you
with
put-
that. Grab a rag, go back with a rag, and wipe it.
Okie dokie.
Wipe it down.
Wipe any prints off it.
Okay. Shut the garage door and drive off.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just write this down.
So who do we think this guy is? We think this was our contact to get weapons, but someone's. Do we think it was our people who put the axe in the back of his head, and left the guns there, or?
No idea. Either Lamb has arranged
Doesn't it?
to have a local gun dealer die so you can take these guns off him without paying, or something's gone south as a coincidence.
Okay, so okay, but that's fine.
I think we need to check. Well, report that back securely somehow.
You got burner phones.
Yeah, because he said we were to call him, didn't he?
Yeah.
But obviously, wheels have been put in motion. But anyway, I guess it's not a bad thing, you know. Whatever's happened, you know, very sad for him, obviously. But hey, we've got 3 guns.
Yeah.
No, you got 4.
No, we've got 4. No, we've got 8.
What we'll do is, can I suggest that we pull over?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then what we do is in the back of the car, kind of pull up the panel, you know, in the boot, where either the spare wheel would be, or you know, there's normally some storage space under there, or whatever. And we just sort of hide the weapons away, just so
obviously
that if we do
you don't have a spare wheel, so you do have a lot more space to put. You have the space.
We'll
certainly
put the submachine guns out of sight. But obviously, it would be silly. I guess we probably keep the handguns with us, but the bigger artillery we'll probably hide away just in case we get pulled over or whatever.
Okay.
That makes sense to everyone?
So then,
Yes.
Yeah.
So by about 8:30, you arrive back at the hotel.
Okay.
Get something to eat then, presumably. Sort of check in and get our funky convention badges and all that stuff.
So you get your convention badges, have a bit of eat to eat. The
And like,
address
how
of
much?
Shen.
You know, looking at how much it costs in Vienna.
Yeah, because you didn't talk about. You have got a credit card with somebody's name on that's not yours.
Yeah. Okay.
To get funds. About 5 miles from where you are is Arkady Shevlenko. About 2 miles in the other direction, the other side of you, is the offices of the Dr. Ingolf.
Okay, listen. So what I'm going to suggest, I'm going to make a call to Roddy. So when we've had food and gone back to the rooms, because presumably we've had a pretty obviously we've had quite a trip, and also with all this business with the gun dealer. So I presume, I don't know whether any of them will stay up in the bar, but I'm going to go back to the room, and I'm going to call Roddy on the burner phone. I'm guessing he probably won't be there, but I'll leave him a message. And my thinking is
an hour, 2 hours difference. So it's
so we're 2 hours
you ring
ahead,
at
right?
9. You ring at 9. So it's about 7 back in the
so
UK.
he's not going to be in the office, is he? He's not going to be in the Slough house. But I'll leave him a message,
But you were told by Lamb that they were probably going to be on the move and be somewhere else. So you're ringing Roddy's mobile phone rather than.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll ring his mobile phone if he answers or if he doesn't. But my point is, what I want him to do, I'm going to see if he's able to hack in to the doctor's appointment system and see whether there's any sign of Cheblenko having an appointment with him in the next couple of days, because I'm thinking it might be easier to grab Cheblenko like while he's visiting the doctor than it would be to go to wherever Cheblenko's being held, and we know he's being at least monitored by is it SFSB or KGB or whatever it was, all right. So I wonder whether it's worth checking to see whether if he's got like a doctor's appointment in 2 days or something, then maybe that's where we try and grab him rather than grabbing him from where he's being held, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand Roddy would have to go off and look into, he's not going to know immediately, but I'll just leave. That's just a thought that occurs to me. So I'll leave him a message and ask him to look into it and give me a call back when he's had a chance to check. Because presumably it'll be easier for him to hack into some doctor's surgery IT system than it would be to, get into anything of Cheblenko's. So
yes.
So I'll leave that
you
one
leave a
with
message using the pre-approved codes, as it were.
Yeah, no problem.
So the rest of you eat. After about 30 minutes to an hour, unknown number comes up on your phone.
Yep.
Oh, Mr. Bond, it's Rodster.
Evening, Roddy. What have you got for me?
2 things. In 2 days, a Shevlenko is due to see Mr. Golf. Mr. Golf? Ingolf.
Dr. Ingolf, yeah.
At his surgery.
Great, Roddy. That's great.
2 days. 10 o'clock, says. 2 days, 10 o'clock. Which is
Perfect.
not tomorrow, but the next day.
The day after. I got you. I understand.
Yeah.
Thanks, Roddy. I understand how days work.
Well, I weren't sure. There's some chatter. Do you know what I mean? There's chatter coming over the airwaves that the Liski Bratva are moving a significant asset into Vienna. It's flagged because
Okay.
there's that convention going on, and the Austrian plod are concerned it might be an attempted terrorist attack or assassination of one of the Saudis.
Okay. What do we think? Do we think that's credible, or do we think there's something else going on?
No idea. I had to Google the Latvia Bratva, some kind of mob, criminal enterprise, Eastern
Basically,
European
Russian mafia,
thugs.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Roddy. Cheers.
Yeah.
That's great.
And hang on. Lamb says you're welcome.
Okay. Tell Mr. Lamb I said thank you.
Okay, good.
Should we
Cool.
mention the dead guy in the warehouse?
Yeah. I'm not sure. You could just Roddy, do me a favour. Could you just tell Mr.
Yep.
Lamb that we got we picked up the package?
Hang on. They picked up.
See what he says to that.
You can hear Lamb's voice saying, "For fuck's sake, tell it go away."
Okay, that's good. Thanks, Roddy.
He said great. All right, bye.
Thanks, Roddy. Bye. And so I think he arranged that probably.
I think it was the your welcome comment might be.
Yeah, I'll relate the information on to the others then about the Bratverse, whatever they're called, bringing in some asset. But I'll say also that sounds like our guy is going to be visiting the doctor's surgery at 10 o'clock in 2 days' time. I guess the other thing is we should probably think about maybe doing a recce on where he is being held. But I think it seems to me that it's going to be better to try and grab him at the doctor's rather than if he's in a place being guarded. Whereas if he's on the move and out in the open, it's going to be easier. But
we probably want to recce the doctor's surgery as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good shout as well. We should probably that be our job for tomorrow. I guess what we probably need to do is make a bit of a show our faces a bit around the convention hall for a bit, right? Just so that we're seen, but then probably duck out and as Roger says, go and maybe split into two groups and just go and recce the two.
Yeah, one's
2 possible
2 miles,
places.
one's walking distance, and one's both really walking distance, 5 miles and 2 miles. None of you speak Austrian, I don't believe.
No,
it's not Austrian, it's German, isn't it? It's always German.
No, there is Austrian. There is Austrian.
Got French.
No, I've got nothing. No, Struan's got nothing. He's got nothing. He's got English only. So
he does that with a silly accent. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember us giving everyone crazy.
No,
languages.
But also I don't think you see in the show that any of them have got particular language skills. I wouldn't be surprised if Shirley probably had some, because
Shirley could possibly speak is probably English and Welsh as a minimum.
Yeah.
And therefore, given that she's bilingual, it's possible that she knows. Once you've learnt one language, it's easy to learn other languages.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think any of them have really got any. There's no evidence in the show. I don't think that any of them had any other languages. But but I mean, to be fair, again, in somewhere like Austria, that everyone speaks English anyway, so can probably should imagine we'll be able to get on relatively easily. I guess maybe what we do is one group takes the car to go and because I mean 5 miles is quite a walk, whereas 2 miles is probably doable pretty quickly. So
yeah.
So I guess that means Struan will probably go to check out the place where Shablenko's being held, because I've got the car and I'm driving the car, so it might as well be me. And maybe take one of the others, and then the other two go to check out the doctors.
Yeah, Min and
So-
myself will do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it'll be it'll be Struan and River. Then we'll go check out
5
the
miles
safe
in the
house.
car
Yeah.
versus a short walk to the doctors. You're roughly going to arrive both at the same time. So we'll deal with the doctors first. It's a largest house rather than a industrial property. Looks classic mid-century Austrian design, if there is such a thing. Got the doctor's name on the board. There's parking out the front for about 5 cars. Looks very well to do. The building itself looks like it's well kept. It looks like the entire building is taken over by the surgery. And it's just the one doctor's name on the outside. It's kind of Dr. Engolf's coronary specialist. So it's either his house and his surgery, or he's making so much money he's got a huge property that he rents or owns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There is a small wooded area around the back, I guess in the UK you'd call it a spinney.
Yeah.
With a fence, and the back area is all concreted over, paving slabs. There's no grass, and there's no back gate, but you could climb over it, the fence, and access the rear area. There doesn't appear to be CCTV. No, there doesn't appear to be any visible cameras. There's no. It is that there is a Ring doorbell at the front, but at the back there's no cameras that you can see. Nothing obvious.
It makes sense. I get like I say. That's why I figure this might be an easier place, just because this is the doctor's surgery rather than a. And also we don't know whether they'll send the patient with like one escort or two, or whether they'll all come mob-handed. But it seems unlikely that they'd turn up with one patient and four guys looking after him. So
yeah. So,
but we don't know obviously till the day. But
the other team 2, arrive at the house that Shevchenko is supposed to be staying at. It's
we'll make a point of parking up, obviously, a safe distance away, so that if there's any CCTV or anything, so in other words, park like a couple of streets away, so that there's no chance that we'll get caught on camera. At least
you
the
start
car
to
won't
walk
be caught.
down, and it's a 4-bedroom detached house with parking for a couple of cars at the front. Both parking spaces are occupied by large black SUVs with dark windows and Russian plates.
Yeah, so
windows,
already I like this. I like this less than the doctor's surgery. But.
With all the blinds are down, and the house looks like it's in darkness.
Any obvious sign of surveillance cameras or?
Yes.
Okay.
I look
so
like
we'll make a point.
Couple of omnidirectional cameras on each of the corners of the building. You try and make your way around the back, and there's a small alleyway. Barbed wire looks like it's been nailed to the top of the rear fence, and you can see more omnidirectional cameras on the corner of the building.
Okay, fine. So we just literally walk past, take a circuit round, like a street, a block, so we don't go back past the house a second time. Mm-hmm. Because again, if someone's observing cameras or looking back at cameras, seeing somebody walk past, one way and then back again, is likely to be more suspicious. So we just walk past and take a note of all of this, but then head back to the car via a different, just go out of our way by a couple of streets just so that we get back to the car. So I think that, I don't know what you think, Mike, but that sounds like it's a no to me, that one.
Yeah.
There's definitely too much that could go wrong, I think, in that situation.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. It sounds risky. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So all right. So we'll head back to the hotel. I guess that the plan will be we'll meet back at the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and we'll relay that information back to the others.
Okay.
So you double check the address on Google Maps, and it appears the actual house that he's staying at is owned by the Russian embassy.
Yeah. So again, another reason to avoid it like the plague, I would argue.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
No worries.
So I think that makes it clear then that if we're going to try and pull him, we do it at the doctor's appointment.
So whilst this has all been going on, River gets a series of text messages from an unknown source which appear to look like links to a Wikipedia page. You know these from Roddy, but it just goes into a bit more depth of RKD. KGB field officer for most of his 50s. Until the 70s, he spent the 80s as a handler, debriefing old agents like Kiln Philby,
Yeah.
Shevchenko, it was said, the last person to brief Philby, that two were supposed to be friends. And in pencil, what looks like pencil on screen, it says a rumour that Philby confided in him. Famed spy master Yuri Modin, the controller of the Cambridge Five, said that Shevchenko was probably the only man who really knew where Philby's ultimate loyalties lay. Shevchenko's wife died in 1990. His son, Peter, died in a plane crash in 1995. His only surviving relative is a granddaughter, Anna, who appears to have dropped off the grid recently. That appears to be it. There's no other than his doctor is the Dr. Ingloff, who appears to be specialized in exotic heart problems. Question mark. And in brackets, symptoms appear to match those of St. John Philby. Question mark, who died of a heart attack in 1960.
So what he's trying out he's sampling the
and there is a photograph of Shevchenko with an open top shirt. Has anyone got network? No, tradecraft, research, notice, or data recovery?
I believe I've got tradecraft. I'll just find it. Let's check.
What?
Yeah. I'm fairly sure I had it.
Spend a point. You just need to spend 1 point in tradecraft, and essentially you zoom into the photograph, and you see that Shevchenko is wearing a necklace with some kind of talisman around his neck.
Which talisman not familiar, or can we identify it?
No, you can't see what it is. Can't tell whether it's. It looks No, can't tell what it is at all. It's not. It's not a cross. It's not a St. Christopher or anything. Can't tell what it is.
Around his neck, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you scroll out, you see there's a series of photographs, and they show each photograph shows the talisman, but a couple of them shows him holding it. Around it kind of has his hand around the talisman.
I mean, how does he
Okay.
seem? I know this sounds a bit of a daft question, but how does he seem to be holding the talisman? Does he seem to be holding? He's gripping it.
Yeah.
As if someone might clutch a cross or something like that.
Sort of, yes. Yeah, sort of.
Right. Okay. So that means he was obviously cheating himself when he photo was taken. Okay. Can we identify the cross or the symbol or whatever it is?
No idea what it is.
Can we send a picture back to Roddy to look at?
No, Roddy sent them to you.
Oh, okay, right. But can we ask him then if he can try and identify the image, the iconography, or the?
Yes, you can ask him to identify it. He'll have a look.
Cool.
Right. So where does that leave us? How are we gonna get him? How are we gonna get him out of the doctor's surgery? And well, I mean, what's our plan?
So is it? I mean,
here's a map I drew of the street to the front, to the rear, potential grab points, things like that. Cameras to avoid on the main street. So, half an hour looking at this, we should come up with a plan.
Yeah.
So is it? What about if we? So we know he's going to be there at 10 o'clock, right? So what about if we go into the surgery prior, take control of the surgery, so literally keep them at gunpoint? I mean, obviously we'll have to try and disguise ourselves. So basically when they come to the surgery, they bring him in and we've already got control of the premises. And literally if they walk in the door, we've got Louisa who could sit on the reception desk. And I'm not being sexist, but they'll be expecting a female receptionist at the desk. So they walk in the door, she's behind the desk, we're waiting, sitting in the waiting room, as if we are patients. They come in and then we literally pull guns out, hold them at gunpoint, grab him and go. And then, like I say, that has the benefit of us having control of the building before they arrive, because we know when he's due to arrive. So we go in at, let's say, 9 o'clock because again, they could turn up early or whatever, but we go in and we basically go in and we essentially gather everybody up, keep them controlled, put Louisa in the front desk, we sit in the waiting room, they come in, guns out, gun to the back of the head, drop your weapons, lock them in a storage room or whatever, and take him and go. That seems to be to me, that seems like the most obvious way to do it, unless anyone's got a more cunning plan.
The only other thing we could do is, you say he's being dropped off at the home.
Well, we don't know. We know he's got an appointment at 10 o'clock. He's not going to be dropped off because we would assume he's under guard. So someone's going to bring him into the surgery for his appointment. That's why I'm saying if we control the surgery, then we can take him without any shots being fired, hopefully.
Yeah, because what I was thinking is maybe we could grab the car that he arrives in, but I think your idea is better.
But also, if you're grabbing a car on the street, then there's the possibility of
as I
of
say,
people getting involved.
that's the
Whereas if
only-
we're inside a private building, we take
Yeah.
control of the building. Then they walk in. We've got them dead to rights and out of prying eyes, no sign of anybody, and then we simply walk him out the front door and get in the car and go.
Yeah, what's the back entrance to this building like? Because it might be better to take him out the back.
There's no gate.
Didn't you say there's no gate, but it's got like a paved, like the garden's been sort of paved
there's a paved
over,
area,
but
and there's a spinney behind.
Yeah.
The other option that occurs to me as well is that so there's 4 of us, right? So if we have 3 of us go into the surgery in advance, because obviously if you play it out in my head, so you walk in the surgery, right? Vossi stuff. So they walk in, they've got right guns out. You take everybody in the place hostage. Like I say, lock them up. Louisa takes over, but then when presumably they're going to turn up in 1 or 2 of the SUVs is the only thing that concerns me. We don't know how many of the 2 cars how many of the guards are going to come with. If we're lucky, it might just be a couple, but of course it might be all 4 of them. Because then that does give us the sort of the kind of wild card of potentially having 1 or 2 of these armed KGB guys sitting in a car outside, and obviously then we're going to have to deal with them. If there's a driver, then we could leave one of us outside, and then whoever's outside literally goes up to the guy, gun in the back again. Pulls a gun on him, disarms him, marches him into the building. But if there's 2, if they keep 2 of them outside or whatever, then that's more of a problem. But obviously, we're not going to know how that's going to play out until they turn up. We just don't know. Are they just going to bring him? 2 of them going to stick him in a car and bring him because he's just going for a doctor's appointment, or are they cautious enough that they're going to bring all 4 of them to guard him? In which case, we've got a bit more of a problem. But I still think trying to take them in the surgery itself is safer than trying to do it outside, because you don't know. You've got to then deal with all the outside interference from people calling police and people getting involved or whatever. Whereas if it's inside a building, then it's controlled.
Yeah, there's a lot. The chances of the doctor's surgery having a panic button directly to the police is quite slim.
Yeah, so what I would have thought, because you said it's like a private clinic, right? It's like a
specialist heart place.
Yeah, but again, I think what we do is we go in masked. I mean, as in I say masked. I mean you're talking like handkerchief. Like bandanas or something. Because again, there might very well be some sort of camera inside the premises, but it's unlikely to be it's not likely to be fed. That's not likely to be streaming to the police. That just means it's like a security camera, so that there's a recording. But again, if we can avoid being identified, that's going to obviously be better for us. But as I say, it's I don't know. That's just my sort of feeling about the situation. But
I'm guessing they'll leave at least 1 person outside.
Well, they'll have at least 1 guy with him.
Yeah,
yes.
I think minimum is they'll bring 2. I think there'll be a driver, there'll be a guard, there'll be somebody to stay with him when he goes into the surgery. Like you say, it might be that both of them will go into the surgery, or it might be, as Roger says, that they'll leave 1 outside. If that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is all 4 of them turn up and they leave 2 outside and 2 inside. We can deal with the 2 inside with the plan as when they come in, but that does leave us with the problem of the 2 outside. And then if we were going to manage those, we'd have to leave 2 of us outside, which I think is too risky. I think we probably all need to go into the surgery to be able to take that without any resistance and to get all of those people locked up. But again, I think what we do is maybe if we do that early. So if we go at like 9 o'clock on the day of the appointment, so in other words, we give ourselves plenty of time before he's due to turn up. We go in, we take control of it. Anyone who comes in, any other patients come in, you lock them up with the others. Keep it controlled, and then we'll have to just deal with them when they arrive at the 10 o'clock. Because again, but anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to take that over. But that's just what I'm thinking. So
No, that makes sense.
That sounds
Just
good.
if there are two outside, if one of us waiting outside sees that there's two of them waiting outside,
Yeah.
perhaps instead of doing something, that person could go inside and alert the others, and then
Yeah. That's a good.
when we all go out, we're kind of ready for them,
Yeah, that's a good shout.
and they'll be surprised, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the plan, isn't it? Like I say, if we do it this way, hopefully they'll be surprised.
But if there's just one
Um,
outside, then whoever's outside will hopefully deal with that
Yeah.
one person.
If we go out the back, we won't need to worry about whoever stays out in the car.
That's true as well.
So the,
Yep.
the
If we're all inside to begin with, and then we just take him straight out the back, shortest route to our vehicle, we don't have to worry about their driver.
you don't. The gate. There's no gate on the fence at the back, but it's a standard 3-bar fence. If you picked up a what's it called? Cordless recip saw, you could cut through those pieces of wood, the braces, and therefore be able to go in and just remove the fence panel and go in and out quite easily. You could go at night, the day before, with a handsaw and carefully cut through the wood so that you could remove it without making noise.
Interesting.
Yeah, if we can, that's actually that's not a bad idea.
So you just need essentially, I guess, a pruning saw and cut through most of the wood. So there's just a little bit, and when you go in, one person could go around the back and remove those fence panels and move the fence out of the way, so that you have an immediate escape route.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It's certainly, we could prepare it. We might not use it, but it's a good idea to have a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because again, did you say that this surgery is in a sort of residential area?
Yes.
So it's not like in a big sort of. So in other words, in the evening, it's likely to be dark and quiet and.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Quiet.
Maybe do that. Yeah, do that and just prepare it. And even if we don't need it, at least we've prepared it. Cool. All right, I think that's a plan then, for sure.
Yes.
Okay. So that's quite easy to do. It's you go at night and you're going to cut through it quite quietly. That's not going to make too much noise. So that's easy to set up. Contact has been made with Dander and Marcus. They are on their way to what's that place called? Bratislava, and should be there within 2 hours. They've got a hotel Airbnb booked very close to the border. And because it's Europe, the borders are open. So you just need to drive through. It'll be nominal, I believe. What with free movement of people.
Yep.
So is there anything else you would like to do?
I don't know. I think we've. I guess the other thing we could probably do is just be aware of any so security cameras in the area. So we know that the surgery doesn't have any obvious cameras apart from the Ring doorbell, which we can mitigate. So when we go to the door, we can make sure not to look at the Ring doorbell as best we can. But just have a little walk around the area just to see if there's any other, are there cameras over the road? Is there cameras?
Yeah.
Because again, anything we can do to minimise our exposure.
So a basic walk round will point out all of the obvious cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enough of it being a residential area and not being in the UK to realise that you could get in and get out without being seen by camera. It's only the Ring doorbell you have to worry about.
Okay.
But how are we going to deal with that? I mean, the Ring doorbell. I mean, could we peep in from the side and kind of sort of
can't we just go in the back?
Well, no, because the thing is, we want to take them by surprise. We want to just walk in the front as if we're patients, and then you pull guns on them. So I don't know, because again, you don't know whether the back doors are locked, or whereas if it's a place of business, if you walk in the front door, it's going to be open.
Likely not to have a Ring doorbell on it, though, isn't it? That's my only thought.
Is the Ring doorbell on the door itself?
Yes.
So
no, it's on the frame of the door. So depending on how they got the polygon set up, you would imagine that it would. So you get a notification that there's somebody by the door every time somebody walks past it. So you'd imagine that to stop the annoyance of the surgery, the polygon's probably set to just a very small amount of space outside the door itself, rather than the whole of the camera image, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it may even just be set to for actual somebody button pushing it.
Yeah,
you can mitigate that because you can remember that Ring doorbell footage is not that clear. But if we all, if you wear like a baseball hat or a hoodie or whatever, some sunglasses, it's just basically to disguise us enough. And again,
don't ring it and go, just walk in.
Exactly. It would look suspicious when played back. I understand that. But the point is, at that point, it's too late because, again, what we're worried about is, because, again, this is not a Ring doorbell. The footage is normally backed up. So it gets backed up on the Ring servers, they kind of keep footage.
Yep.
But the point is, as a live thing, if you walk up to it, as Kevin says, unless they've got it, they might get a notification to say someone's approaching the door. But if you just walk up and you've got like a baseball hat and or a pair of sunglasses or whatever on, or a hoodie, whatever, it's not suspicious enough that it's because all you got to do is get through that door, and then we're just worried that if some point down the road somebody goes back and looks at that footage, as long as we've disguised ourselves enough so that we're not recognizable, you're just a bloke in a hoodie or a bloke with a baseball hat on. You keep your head down when you approach the door. These are all basic tradecraft tricks that we would probably be aware of. So I don't think the Ring doorbell is a massive issue, because it's all they're going to do is at some point the police will come back and look at it and go, oh, there's no real usable footage there because look, they've just got hoodies and sunglasses on. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't see the benefit of going over the back fence, because then you've got to get over the fence unobserved. You've got to, and if his office is in the back garden, he's looking out over the back and he sees 4 people come climbing over the back, he's going to call the police, isn't he? So, whereas I think if you just walk in the front door, they're not, there's going to be a receptionist who's going to go, hi, how can I help you? And you're like, hands up, gun, in the back room, blah, blah, blah. I think that just seems to me to be the better way to manage it. But so I think we just need to go and buy some baseball hats and some hoodies,
Okay, so you have disguises, and you have a plan for that. So
we're finishing. What time of year is this?
It's now, so summertime.
Okay.
It rained yesterday.
Yeah, they're unlikely to have any winter gear, any sort of balaclavas or anything like that.
But an umbrella would do just as
exactly.
If the weather holds out or doesn't hold out, you can use an umbrella with the same effect of walking up to a doorbell with the umbrella.
It's also as simple as just not looking at the camera, because if you know it's there, then, because I know from having had a Ring doorbell and having got a Google doorbell, even if somebody's walking right up towards it, unless they're looking at the camera, you can't really, you don't get a good enough picture to be able to identify somebody.
Right.
So again,
Yeah.
simple techniques like cover your eyes with sunglasses, stick a hoodie on, as you say, carry a brolly, don't look at the camera. That's going to be good enough to get us in the door.
If you turn,
COVID
if
mask.
you're walking, COVID mask. You could get away with the COVID mask.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point, actually. Especially in Europe. Yeah, no, that's a very good. And going into a doctor's surgery as well. Good point.
Mhm.
So, yeah, COVID masks, again, excellent suggestion.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, COVID masks are perfect. We could wear those, and then
that's
you just keep them on while you're dealing with the people in the surgery.
Mhm.
And then again, that's a good enough disguise that they're going to, and also assuming that we're dealing with just normal, medical people. So, this, again, we don't know this doctor. There seems to be something about the doctor maybe that we're not sure about from what you were saying about how he deals with the same condition, and this is something similar to Philby. There might be something a bit dodgy there, but I would imagine his receptionist and his nurses or whatever are just going to be normal people. So if you walk in wearing a COVID mask, stick a gun in their face, I don't think they're going to be in any position to really remember enough about it for it to be a problem. So I think that's all we need to do really, is just basic precautions. And then, as I say, the trick is to manage the scene, to manage them, get them locked in a back room, get them tied up and out of harm's way, and then we can manage it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 6 minutes. So we'll set up the cliffhanger, and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
So you cut the back of the fence. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, you cut
go ahead.
cut the back of the fence, and 3 of you go in the front door. You bypass the Ring doorbell, open the front door, and everything's going smoothly. As you go in, the woman behind reception, because you're wearing long coats and COVID mask and machine guns, she goes, as you step in, she says, "Are you the extraction team? We've been waiting for you." Sorry, are you the American extraction team? We've been waiting for you.
With our best American accent.
Sure are, ma'am.
And we'll leave it there.
okay.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Oh, is this a plan coming together?
It was all going so well, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was going far too well.